So guys, you said you have about 20 minutes, right?
Yep. Yep.
All right, let's get it.
We're live.
Awesome. So Arthur, Dave, thanks for joining us today. We're appreciative of your time. We know you only have a few minutes, and I'm glad to get some FaceTime with you in a literal sense. How you guys been doing?
Good. How's everything with you guys?
We're staying busy.
Trying our best to, yeah.
This is a different world.
New world. That's right.
Yeah. So I suppose just get right into it. Mike and I have just some industry specific questions for you guys about how he and I can be a value added resource to the real estate industry. Yeah. And that being said, Mike, you wanna kick us off?
Yeah. So the first question I had to do with the sales cycle in today's market. So how long does it generally take for a sale to go through?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. So typically in our business, when you're working with a buyer, it takes a little bit longer because they may take a couple months to buy. But once a property goes under contract, it's typically 30 to 45 days till a closing. So I would call that our sales cycle. It's 30 to 45 days. Now, some buyers look for a year before that, 6 months, one showing. That can vary significantly.
Yep.
But typically 30 to 45 days.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So from the time they find a property or the property goes under contract that we're selling, you're probably looking at 45 days to 2 months. But up until that time, some people take a year, some people take a week, some people take 2 years, right? So that varies greatly, depends on personal situations and stuff. But as far as once the house gets under agreement, then that's a 2-month period.
Okay. And so it sounds like, the numbers are fluctuating a little bit anyways, but do they fluctuate more with the market as things go up and down?
What do you mean, like how long it takes to close on a property?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
as a change to the buyer's market too.
45-day cycle doesn't change unless it's commercial real estate. It may be 3 to 6 months in that case. But the numbers do fluctuate in how quickly people buy or sell. So in the hot sellers market like we have today, homes are selling in days or weeks, right? For a seller if you list it. In a hot buyers market, for sellers it may take longer to sell.
Yeah. Okay.
So actually, Mike, real quick before you go to your next question, are you guys doing commercial? I should know that by now, but are you guys doing commercial?
Yeah, about 20 to 30% of our business every year is commercial real estate. We sell buildings as big as 20 units all the way 6 to 10. Just to give people, the viewers, some context, what's considered commercial real estate for financing purposes is even if it's residential, but it's 5 units or more, it's considered commercial for financing purposes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. But commercial.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, see. So commercial could be condos, but more than 5 units, or it could be like industrial. It could be actual commercial space like office front, or mixed use, like 3 apartments upstairs, commercial space downstairs. So we do all of that, and it's typically about 20 to 30% of our business. Would you say?
Yeah, about 30%. So.
Okay.
Nice.
Just to give us some context, what do you got in your experience? What do you see as some of the characteristics of a really successful real estate professional?
This guy right here.
Me. Wake up early, don't sleep, drink water, and nothing else. So I think, to be a success, ask the question again.
So what are some of the characteristics of, a successful real estate professional?
A successful real estate professional. First of all, you have to be professional, right? That's probably number one. You have to treat everybody with good intentions and good morals. And then you really have to know the business, right? You have to have experience. You have to have the experience that is proven, a proven track record where you know that you can actually help people get to the closing tables, right? Achieve the results they want in the best part with the best terms and conditions to them, know how to negotiate. And I think to become a real professional person in this business takes time because it's a really hard business. However, to be professional in general and to do a good job, it just takes experience. Obviously, lots of classes, lots of learning, and staying on top of your craft, and just studying a lot on the industry and what's going on, right? Being up to date. And I think the compound of all that stuff turns out to be a successful agent.
Okay. And so obviously with a lot of real estate professionals, there's the full-timers and then there's the part-timers. Would you say that those characteristics are really the difference maker between what would take somebody from part-time to full-time, really killing it?
We used to be part-time for 5 years in the beginning of now we've been in business for 10 years. So we've been full-time for the past 5, right? The first 5, obviously we worked hard and did everything, but experience comes with time. And it's a significant change for this business to be able to provide financially on every level, all our expenses and all this kind of stuff. That took time. I don't know if everybody's road is exactly the same. Some people you see, they come into the industry and they do it really quickly. But our journey has been about 10 years. And now at the 10-year mark, we're the number 1 team in our office. We're top 10 in the region for New England, which is almost 5,000 people. And, but that's 10 years into it.
Okay. So
yeah, I see you guys posting everywhere. I see LinkedIn, I see Facebook, I see you got your listings everywhere. I mean,
yeah,
clearly you're getting traction and it's working.
Yeah, definitely.
let's see. So when you guys started off, 10 years ago, was it independent or did you guys kind of have to make a leap to, your own team? Like what were some of the boundaries that kind of stood there in front of you while you made that transition?
We started off a little differently. I started off at rentals in Boston. My brother went to work for Zip Realty.
Yeah, I think so.
They're not around anymore, but we started off and then we kind of met at Century 21 and decided like, hey, if we're both selling real estate at 2 different companies, why don't we just do it together? That was about the beginning of 2010. And then shortly after that, we came up with a team name, DNA Realty Group, and we started really branding and marketing ourselves and doing videos and getting out there because we wanted to set up our business in a way that if we ever move or switch companies, like we had something tangible as far as a client base and the name base. And that's really what we built it on. And over time, we jumped around different brokerages, but the name DNA Realty Group stuck. To this day, people write checks to DNA Realty Group as if we were, like an independent brokerage. So, right.
Okay, cool. All right. So as a financial professional who's, looking to get into an industry with real estate professionals, what is one strategy that if I were to approach you guys, you would just not be into it at all? You'd say, get the hell away from me.
That's a good question. You want to go first? You want me to answer it?
Yeah. What doesn't work?
You can answer. I think that's a broad question.
So I think what doesn't work is pretty simple. It's the same thing that doesn't work in most networking events. So let's pretend that we're just meeting in a room and we're just networking, right? Like a traditional networking event before COVID, they were common. That's how I believe I met Steve for the first time.
That's how we met Steve, right?
So
networking.
If Steve came up to me and he was like, hey, and we don't know each other at all, and he's trying to tell me about signing up for a financial plan without knowing what I do and just trying to sell me something, I think that's a big turnoff in any industry. Because one is like, you don't know me, you don't know what I have a need, you didn't ask any probing questions, we don't have a relationship, and you're trying to sell me something. And I'll answer that question twofold. A better approach, I think, is to come in with the approach of building a relationship long term, coming up with ways to make it a win-win. How can not only you get my business, but I think more valuable for you would be is how can you get that realtor to give you referrals and business and vice versa? So I think that's a much better approach. A lot of people just go in with trying to sell people that they don't know, which I'm sure works, but it doesn't work nearly as efficiently or effectively because you can build a business from somebody if you build a referral relationship, like a synergetic relationship.
Yeah, I think so too.
There's our boss.
Hey, boss. And so,
live TV.
Yeah,
Dave, Arthur, and Mike, I think too, in the context of that question, you're talking about developing a referral relationship or how to generate referrals from a real estate agent or vice versa. I think you have to be a hardworking professional too, because if you're just sitting back on your hands, not trying to generate business, you're not going to have any referrals for them ever. You know what I mean? And you can be really, really close friends, but at the end of the day, we're all counting our pennies and trying to figure out where our next paycheck comes from. So you have to be able to meet people where they are. and,
Right.
make sure that you're working as hard as they are. So just keep in mind, generating referrals is, I think, it's not a tit for tat, but it is a give and take.
Yeah, 100%, right? At the end of the day, business has to get done, right? So
Yeah.
you can't just be happy friends all the time, right? Business has to get done, and I think that's an important thing. But if everybody's working hard, outside of that is just adding value to people. It's like, there's like, help me, help you. Well, why don't you help yourself, help the other person?
Yeah.
That's what I think, right?
Yeah.
If you want to be in business with somebody, you got to help them. And the best mindset to do it with is, this is what I do. I'm helping people regardless of anything I can get back. I'm just going to help as many people as I can. And some people are going to screw me over, and some people just aren't. And at the end of the day, I'm going to win, right? You can't control everything. You just control how you're going to decide to do
Yeah.
it.
Preach.
All right, so kind of off that, what are some of your guys' best experience in regards to networking in the industry? What was that dynamic kind of like?
Yeah. So I think networking in general is actually a really awesome thing. I think most people in sales businesses, they're just extroverted, right? So it's just nice to be around people. And nowadays with the phones and stuff, I think it's kind of weird that networking's the thing where you get to meet people, but that's what it is. And I think
forced introductions.
Yeah, I think it's super cool. It just shows you that people have a huge necessity for face-to-face interaction and personal interaction, right? Just a little communication with somebody. And I think that stuff works, if you follow up and then invite people to events, the networking events we go to aren't always our events.
Right.
We go to other people's events, and we invite friends of ours to their events because, that's just how it should be. But I think it's awesome. I think networking is a really awesome strategy. You just get to meet people.
Yeah. I'll give you a quick story about networking. So I think you have to learn the game. And what I mean by that is this. When we started in the business 10 years ago, we built our business on cold calling. And we did that, and it was successful. But it came a point where we realized that to grow to the next level, we have to add other lead sources. So one year, we strategically decided that we were going to add networking to our lead source. And what we did that year is we came up with a plan. Like, we're going to join BNI. We're going to go out 2 times a week each to separate events and network. And what you have to do is become a student of the game. You have to learn how to network. One of the best organizations to do that is BNI. We had the founder on our podcast episode, The Modern American Dream.
I saw that.
Episode 13, so listen to that. But I think what you have to do is, whether it's BNI or another source, you have to read books about networking. You have to learn about networking. You have to get tips about networking. But not just education, it's education and practice. So then you have to go out and try the things you read in that book and see if it works.
Right.
What questions work? How to build that relationship? What questions don't work? Even things that are simple, it's like how you stand at a networking event. So I'll give you an example. One thing we learned is a lot of times when people go to a networking event, face me.
Like, if you guys are the third person, all right,
And me and
him
my
and I
brother
are
have a
talking,
conversation.
nobody can come into this circle.
Right. So,
Right.
but if we're standing like this and we're
Yeah.
having a conversation,
Body language.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's simple things like that, and it's also complicated things like what you say, how you say it, how you present yourself, how you carry yourself. I feel like a lot of people, a lot of events are super leisure, which is awesome, but you should still be professional,
Yeah, and then also have a goal, right? Like, the goal is not a business card exchange, and it's not to get 50 business cards.
Right.
And it's not to get a referral. I've been to a networking event, and the next day somebody called me and they're like, "Hey, I'm an attorney. I have a house to sell. It was in Salem, Mass. I can't double dip because I'm doing the attorney work on it. Do you want the listing?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah. Thank God I went to this event last night." That's awesome. But that's not where you're going. I think the best way to go is to find like-minded people that you can connect with, and then start to build that relationship. And the way you build that relationship, you come up. I literally had a plan written out, like, get the business card. Next day, follow up with a text or email. Next day, add them on Facebook. Next day, add them on LinkedIn. If you have a good conversation on the phone, set up a coffee meeting.
Yep.
systematic follow-up approach to build that relationship. And it's like hiring somebody. And any time in that process, you can decide, like, this is not a good fit. And that's okay, because you're just looking. It's better to have less people that are referring you than to have 100 people where you're not getting any business from.
Yeah.
I agree.
Nice.
With social media, you know, like, bring people into your world. If I meet somebody and you think to yourself, like, hey, I don't think I'd ever want to do business with this person, then what's the point of taking their business card, right? And if you wouldn't be friends with them on social media, right, what's the point? Because that's like more touches, you know? So I think that overall, you really got to say to yourself, am I going to be an open person? You know what I mean? If I meet you guys at an event, I'll probably send you a friend request, you know, because now we met face to face, and now
Right.
I don't mind you seeing what I'm up to with my kid and what I'm up to in my life, you know.
Humanizes you, right?
Yeah, you know, it's just an extension of, and then when I see you, next time I see you, it's like we're still friends, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you don't get to call people every day, but you still get familiar faces, right?
I gotta say, quick interruption, Steve. I love that clock in the back. That thing is money.
That thing is nice.
And Mike, your questions are
Thanks,
tough.
man.
You're gonna have to send me that list.
Yeah, that's a good arsenal question.
Thanks, man. Should be hanging from my neck. Love it. Well, I want to respect your time, guys. And the way that Mike and I were viewing this is not just the chance for us to get to know how to add value to your industry, but also give you guys a chance to spotlight your business. So we can always have another conversation another time, but is there anything you guys want to say that distinguishes you guys from the rest of the real estate practices out there? Brag on yourselves a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Get some fun language out there.
Yeah, I think a lot of things. One is we're real human beings. We're super personal. We've been doing videos and a podcast since like before any realtors were doing it, like literally 10 years ago. So get out there, get a chance to meet us by following us on social media, which Steve, you mentioned, we're super active on. Listen to our podcast, get to know us. We're real human beings. And we generally care about people and our clients. When they come into our world, they become like friends, right? So if you're looking to expand your network, it's not just about buying or selling a house. We do events. We give client gifts. We build deep relationship with our clients. So I want to say like 60% plus of our business is repeat and referral, like past clients.
Yeah.
Meaning like we do a good job. The only reason the other 40 is so big is because we're growing so fast and aggressive, and we have big goals. But we could literally today have 100% referral business if we stop like growing as fast.
Yeah. We're doing obviously marketing and other things now, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, most of our people are like a huge family. It's like a huge, awesome group of people. You know, I could call anybody we've ever sold or anybody that we ever sold their house or bought a house or done any sort of business with us through like B2B and other stuff like that. Most of these people are actually our friends, and we actually hang out on Fridays, and maybe it's watching a pay-per-view event. Maybe like I'm doing a hike in the mountains. We got a bunch of people coming out, and I know
Sign me up for both of those.
You signed up Saturday. Come on down.
It's awesome, man. You know, I think it's cool. I think that's a good way to do business. But in the beginning, make no mistake about it, we had to do a lot more legwork. 10 years later, it obviously comes easier if you work hard. Then what you're building is much bigger, so your strategies are different, but the work is still the same.
Yeah.
Love it. Nice. Awesome. Well, guys, anything else you want to add? Mike, Dave, Arthur?
No, thanks guys for your time. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Helpful.
Appreciate you guys.
That's awesome, man. Thanks guys for doing this. I think it's a cool thing.
Yeah, it was a good job.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. David and Arthur from DNA Real Estate. Top 10 in the region in revenue. Is that what it is?
In the world, pretty soon.
New England region. Yeah.
New England region. That's sick. Congratulations, guys, and thanks for your time today.
Thank you, guys.
See you later.
Take it easy, guys.
Everyone.